number 3. Because they're not just thinking about the emissions that come from the landfill, they're thinking much more holistically. What about all the land and the emissions that were created for growing that food that was then wasted in our buildings, in our businesses, or on the farm? What about those emissions? And I don't think they even go into, what about if the 40% of food is wasted in the US? So think of 40% of the agricultural land we have. If that was then restored to native ecosystem, think of all the carbon that could be sequestered there. That's not even accounted into this number 3. And then if you look at the latest report from the UN, if cities like New York City took their consumption-based emissions into account, their greenhouse gas emissions would be 60% higher. So waste is a much bigger problem than many of us think, and I'm heartened to see so many people coming to this session, because I think people are beginning to realize just quite what a big deal waste is, and the fact that we as architects can, or engineers and facility managers, can do things in the way we design our buildings to reduce the amount of waste we produce. So yeah, reducing food waste is number 3. Composting is number 60. Anaerobic digestion, methane digestion is another thing that come up in the guidelines that you can use organic waste for. Recycling's in there. All these different waste-related strategies are part of Drawdown, and if anybody doesn't know Drawdown, I would say take a look at it, because it's a real comprehensive look at things we can actually do, and things people are already doing to bring down carbon. And so these zero-waste design guidelines came out of the AIA New York. We got funding from the Rockefeller Foundation, really to ask the question, what can architects do to help New York City get to its zero-waste goal? And it was that broad question, and it was a year process with a lot of collaborators to develop that. And so first we started by looking at the waste stream. This Sankey diagram shows New York City's waste stream. The thickness of each stream here relates to how much waste there is. It's directly proportional. So from the 12,500 tons that Department of Sanitation in New York picks up every single day, there's about another 12,500 picked up from the commercial side with commercial haulers. From that 12,500 tons, all that portion is pretty much recyclable, but only this 20% actually gets diverted. And the amount of that actually gets recycled and reused is much smaller. That's just what makes it to the MRF. So if we look at organics, New York City has one of the biggest organics collections in the country, but only a tiny fraction of it is actually getting diverted. Most of it is going to landfills, or some to waste-to-energy incineration. But it's trucked as far as South Carolina or Kentucky. I mean, it just makes no sense to think of this much organic waste being produced and then having it transported to many hundred miles away, where it then decomposes anaerobically, giving off methane, a potent greenhouse gas, in the landfill. So just seeing the scale of the issue and the opportunity that we have, especially in this organics portion, to make, we don't have to export this and have it taken to China to be recycled to come back and have to deal with the problems of that. We can divert this locally. You can even divert organics within your complex with an anaerobic digester connected combined heat and power that could be powering your buildings right there. Or it can go up the Hudson Valley and can be used to grow more food to come back down to the city.